Well, friends and fans, the first big chess piece has now been moved. Tyler Toffoli era is over in Montreal. It wasn't a very long era, but it was a good era, and we're sad to see him go. Best wishes on your trip to Calgary. You are now traded. I'm here with Deeks and Marco and Nick, and we need to react because that's what we do on this channel. We react to trades, but we're also going to share this moment with you that we are kind of sad. Nick, you go first. What's your reaction to this? I know you have mixed emotions.
I'm pissed. No, okay. Mixed feelings, of course. I'm obviously pissed off because I obviously thought Tyler Toffoli was going to be part of this rebuild or whatever we want to call it. He's a guy who wants to be in Montreal, has expressed how much he wants to be in Montreal. And it's a little bit sad to hear that Teapot Toffoli will not be part of the Montreal Canadiens going forward. Obviously going to miss him. Did tremendous for this organization in a short time. So I think this is the part that stings the most. But the return that we did get for him is kind of makes it a little bit better, right? So let's talk about that.
Yeah. Marco, what do you think about the return?
Honestly, all things considered, I mean, obviously it's sad to see Toffoli go. He was so good for our organization in the short time that he was here, and he could have really been a good piece going forward for us. But I think we have to be happy with this return. We're getting a first-round pick in the 2022 draft, which is going to be a stat class, and 2 picks in the first round is going to be huge for our organization going forward. So I think this whole trade kind of just exemplifies the type of direction that Gordon Hughes say we want to go in the future. They want to focus on the young development. And we also got Emil Heinemann, who is a 20-year-old Swedish left winger, currently playing in the SHL right now. And the kid's younger than me. He's got the whole world in his hands. So if we could properly develop this guy, we could get a good top 9 forward also for the future. We also got a 5th-round pick, and obviously we added another Pitlick to our collection. We have Tyler Pitlick, who is apparently the cousin of the Pitlick that we currently have, and Rhett Pitlick is the other brother. So right now, I mean, we have all 3 of them. We were saying that we had chemistry issues this season. Shouldn't be an issue now. I mean, you can't get any tighter than family. So, I mean, all things considered, maybe, in my opinion, considering the player that Toffoli is and how bad the Flames could really use a guy like this when they're trying to make a push and a deep playoff run, maybe you could have got a tiny bit more out of him. But I think all things considered, you have to be happy with the return that we have. And that first pick next year is going to be game-changing. So I'm pumped for the draft coming forward. Obviously, sad to see Toffoli go, but now we just kind of have to look to the future and hope for the best, I think.
Yeah, and before we get to Drew, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in today. This is a reaction to the Tyler Toffoli trade to Calgary for picks and some young players, and we'll get more into what was exchanged. But I also just want to remind you, subscribe to the channel if you're not currently a Habs Tonight subscriber. We're on top of all the news. There's going to be more, there is. And give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the show today. Now, Drew, maybe just like we went through a lot with Tyler in a short period of time, had some great moments in the run to the Cup. What's your reaction?
You know what? I called this sort of last week, like on our last roundtable. I said, Toffoli's playing good right now, guys. Look out. Like, who doesn't want that guy, for a team that's going to make a Stanley Cup playoff run? And then here it is, right? So, I mean, it's definitely bittersweet. I mean, I just put up this new background, 2 weeks ago, and I got 2 Toffoli picks on my wall. So I got one. Thankfully, it's in the corner right here in the corner. You can see. Yep. See Toff right there, and then I think he's on the other side here in the reverse retro as well. Yeah, right there. So, I mean, emotionally, like all of our reactions are, 4-letter words. I think, like, this is hard. It's hard because of in how short of a time Toffoli endeared himself to Montreal Canadiens fans. So it's definitely tough, but the return, you cannot be displeased with this return. And just a reminder too, that this is a 2022 first-round pick. So we now have two first-round picks in this year's draft. I really want to get another first-round pick in the 2023 draft so we can try to go for Connor Bedard. I'm thinking that maybe Ben Sherrod, which could drop any time now apparently, as well. But we'll focus on Toffoli for the time being. But yeah, the return is decent, and the Pitlick brothers are, someone just tweeted the Montreal Pitlicks. So it's bittersweet, like any other trade when you have a player that was able to add value to the team. So Tyler Toffoli, you know, Kat Toffoli, his wife, has been pretty active on Twitter. They've shared how happy they have been to be here. So I guarantee you it's just as bittersweet for Tyler Toffoli as it is for Habs fans.
100%. But the reality is he's 29 years old. He's on a decent contract with terms that go into, I think, the 2024 season, 2025. And Daryl Sutter, there's history there with LA. There's history, you know, with him wanting a win now team. They're 6-game streak right now. And obviously second in the Pacific Division, going to challenge the Avalanche. They think in the playoffs, they need to win now. That's the mentality. So that's the kind of player you go and get. And, you know, Montreal side of the equation, this is obviously what's going to happen. You're going to liquidate good assets for future considerations, assets that you can cultivate in the future, younger players on better contracts. That's just how this works. This is how this business works. So we are sad to see Tyler Toffoli go. And Nick, what's next? Like, obviously, Deeks mentioned Sherratt. We were concerned because of his injury. Maybe this would impact his trade value. But he's going. Like, if the rumors leading up to this trade are an indication of what is going to happen with Sherratt, I would expect he's gone, if not by the end of the day this week.
If not by the end of this week, like you said, it's heating up on Twitter right now. Rumor has it it's going to be to St. Louis. So curious as to what the return's going to be. There was a lot of talk that it was going to be a first and a prospect. He's definitely getting us the first pick. I mean, has to. But I don't know. It's everybody who you don't know what to expect, right? It could be Gallagher by the end of the week. We don't know. It stings. I don't know. I'm just mad. But that's just me. That's just the hockey side of it. But I completely understand the move. Just sucks that he didn't get to rebuild with us. His passion was there, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on this.
Yeah,
we're gonna touch on this. We're doing a recap right after this live show of. So go ahead, Nick.
Sorry, before we keep going, I just want to wish a very happy birthday to our Habs Tonight team member Damon, who turns 20 today. So happy birthday, Damon! Feel that should be acknowledged. Happy birthday! And
I found out I'm old enough to be his dad. I'm not his dad, but I'm not even that old. God. I'm not even that old. So it's like
spring chicken, James. But don't worry about it.
I know. Actually, Drew, you're probably technically old enough to be his dad too.
You know what? Shut up. I am very happy with my age. No, I'm going to be 35. I don't have any children.
But yeah, Damon's birthday.
Happy birthday, Damon. No, seriously, he's been killing it with Marco here. Those two guys, newer members you guys are, as you know, but you guys have been doing an unreal job just being available at the drop of a hat. As you can see, you guys are both in school, so the fact that you're able to jump on a live show with a breaking trade is awesome, and we always thank you guys for the post games too. So we just want to shout out you guys too.
I appreciate it, Drew. It means a lot. Yeah, happy birthday, Damon. Obviously, great member of the team. I love doing the shows with him. I've gotten to do a lot with him right now, and Buddy's always on it. So I can't wait to do more in the future. And yeah, very happy 20th to you, Damon. All the best. Talking a little bit more about the trades that could go on. Apparently, Elliot Freeman tweeted that, he said this earlier, both Toffoli and Sherratt could be gone by today. Obviously, Toffoli, he's gone. So who knows? We might see a Sherratt trade go down today. We were seeing that the Blues, Panthers, and Hurricanes are all interested. The Flames, too, were talking about it they're talking about potentially packaging earlier before the trade Toffoli and maybe Sherratt in a trade, but obviously that didn't go through. So I don't know, but I think we'll definitely get a first and a prospect for Sherratt. I don't think the injury will impact his trade value too much. I think someone like Jeff Petry's value kind of took a hit this season. So maybe we get an A-tier prospect in a second for Petry, whereas last season we probably could have got an A-tier in a first, but it is what it is. But yeah, like I said before, this kind of indication for what kind of direction the team wants to go in the future. I think they're trying to really trade their good assets so that they could get good future pieces and look at the next decade ahead of us. I think right now we're probably going to retweak a few pieces. I think once we trade, let's say if we ever do trade people like Gallagher and Price, I think that's when you could officially say that this team is going to rebuild, because those two pieces I think they're the cornerstone of our team. They're our identity. So I think once you get rid of those guys, I think that's a rebuild indication. I don't quite think we're at that point yet, but obviously we'll see what happens. I feel like there's going to be a lot of news that we're going to have to break going from now up until the draft. So we'll see what the future has in store for us. And hopefully we get a good return for Sherrod. If we get a first next year, obviously in the Bedard draft, that'll be huge. Even if we can get like maybe a 2022 first, if we have 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft, that's going to be game-changing. It's a stacked draft class, like I said before. So honestly, I'm not too upset. Obviously, it's tough to see these guys go. It's not something we're quite used to, just like selling and selling. But the reality, we have good assets. We have to take advantage of that when we have it. So, yeah.
Oh, look,
Sherman.
Sherman's in the house.
Sherman is here. He just wants to say farewell to Tyler Toffoli. He really loved him. He was a big fan. He was a big fan when he came on the screen. He was barking.
Woof.
No, so I have somebody else to look after. I had to go get him because he was barking. He's trying to get comfortable. Sorry.
So yeah, I was about to give a Nick Harper because one of our commenters here, Lucky, is linked to the Rangers too. So yeah, we've thrown him in the pot.
There's more pain coming. Like this is not the
Yeah. I would almost say like, what's the list of players that can't get drafted either by contract size or just because they're foundational, and maybe we'll talk about that on the weekly roundup or later after maybe after the draft or the next couple of days. But
one heartbreak at a time, James.
Yeah, Lucky's definitely on the block for show.
Yeah. Our hearts can't take it.
Yeah, well, the talks on Lucky have, I guess, quieted down with Sherrod and Toffoli being on the chopping block. So I'm kind of curious if there's still chatter going on in the background and with who, because we've heard that obviously he's popular with a couple different teams, but we haven't heard any like exact rumors of where he could potentially be going. I know some people mentioned that he's linked to the Rangers here, which honestly I'm a Rangers fan, so that kind of makes it better for me. But yeah, I'm kind of curious as to where he could go. But James, on that comment for Heinemann here, great potential kid. He's 6'1", he's a big winger, and everybody who's been commenting on him saying he's got a hell of a one-timer too. So he's got what, 11 goals and 20 points in 35 games or something right now in the SHL. So obviously not the most active player, but properly developed could be a great asset for us.
Yeah, the draft pick is clearly the centerpiece of this, but yeah, there's always, we can always grab a couple of guys that might be able to fill the spots. I mean, the lineup over the next few weeks will evolve considerably. I mean, we were just talking the other day about Caulfield, Toffoli, and Suzuki line, and let's ride it to the end of the season and build some chemistry. No.
Shout out to producer Drew, who actually, I want to show this to you guys because clearly some people think that the Habs are the runaway winners of this trade, and this is the full return, and it's the guy.
Flames aren't happy.
Yeah,
Flame fans aren't happy.
Yeah, so let's remember that this is a good haul for the Habs, right? I mean, this is producer Drew, who edits Steve Dangle's LFRs, his Leaf fan reaction videos. A friend of the show, Steve, if you will. But I mean, I just thought that was interesting because people are honest when they really are going to give their take on who won the trade. I mean, immediately the reaction is that Montreal really fleeced Calgary a little bit here. But I mean, if they go on a run and Tyler Toffoli gets you to a cup final, then I don't think they'll be regretting it.
No, for
yeah,
sure.
It always feels that way during win now trades for a team, right? Because they got to give up the barn to get a guy who you go, well, Tyler Toffoli's like he's for them going to be a depth player, and you know he might work some magic in the playoffs, but you always go like you're mortgaging your future now for a team that's going to have to win a series against Colorado in the playoffs most likely, and you just go like, to what end do you want to mortgage the future? But
yeah,
look at the coach you have, look at the players who are in their prime on that team. I don't watch a ton of Calgary hockey, but I know that they've got visions of the Jerome McGinley days, right? And
yeah, if you watch, James, like just all you guys, if you watch how they played against the Leafs last week, they grinded the Leafs into the ground, and the Leafs have been hot. And that, Dangle was talking again about on his reaction video how this is the kind of hockey the Calgary Flames are playing, that he's worried that the Leafs are going to get stomped in a playoff round. And I mean, I'm not saying they're going to play Calgary, but the way the Flames are shaped up right now, Mangiapane's been a massive revelation for them. And you add in a depth scorer like Tyler Toffoli, a guy with a Stanley Cup ring, of course, as we know, Toffoli won one with the Kings, and just his numbers, right? I mean, you put Toffoli with some talented players, he's going to do damage for you. And so for that reason, it's worth the gamble. Maybe for Calgary, like you guys said, it's all in for them. They know where Montreal's at, but we were able to acquire some assets here. So this is what I'm trying to focus on while realizing that Tyler Toffoli's gone.
Yeah, I like this comment. The
Markstrom,
Vancouver
too.
Flames are becoming
Markstrom.
Markstrom's
kind of.
insane this
Yeah.
season. He's leading with what, 8 or 9 shutouts?
The Vancouver
Something like
Flames.
Weren't all three of those guys on the Canucks when they were in the playoffs a couple years ago? Like,
yes.
so
absolutely.
you know, and that's why Vancouver stinks right now, is because they can't hold on to things at work. I don't get it. And
Well, they were
anyways.
once they got Boudreaux, they were doing a heck of a lot better. But no, reality sets in after a little while.
In the long run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's the trade. That's our reaction. Any other final thoughts on that team before we adjourn for the afternoon and record a weekly roundup?
Apart from the weekly roundup, Shane and myself will be recording Autour de la Ligue at 7 tonight for all our French fans. So if you want to join us, we're obviously going to be reacting to everything that's happened in the past 2 weeks. We haven't been active for 2 weeks, so join us for that. And we will be posting the roundtable as well, as you said, later on this afternoon. So make sure to check that out. Subscribe.
Subscribe, hit that thumb, and thank you for watching. We have almost 300 people on the stream, and we know that everyone's at home probably working or, you know, transit or whatever, just trying to consume this trade and what it means for the club going forward. Certainly the first of many steps that are going to be taken in the next few days and weeks to improve the club for the long term. We're not winning games right now, so I don't see this as being anything to be too concerned about. So you just we'll talk about it again, not to tease it too hard, but on the weekly roundup, we will talk about sort of what we see the immediate impact of St. Louis and the recent goalie pickup and some other matters surrounding the club. So that's Drew, that's Marco, I'm James, and Nick. Thanks so much. Everyone on the stream, once again, thank you for watching on such short notice. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you on the next program on Habs tonight. Take care.